You also going to be on Facebook, so make sure you send a shout out to the Facebook people.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, live.
Okay. Yes, this is Brother Taalik, assistant minister to Brother Taalik of Reality Temples Ministries, and AKA Operation Exodus, Mississippi. I want to touch up on this topic again because, I mean, this is definitely a serious topic that many people are, becoming more acquainted with daily, not only in the media or just social media, as far as, violence itself go, but that the government is starting to pay attention to in this nation in some cases because of the fact that they have been avoiding this topic in terms of dealing with, the issues of gun control, laws, and different stuff like that. And I just wanted to, before I go any further, I want to give shout outs to those listening in the Facebook audience, as well as those in the comment section audience and throughout the rest of social media that may be to this live hangout, and I just feel that right now it's time, that we, especially as darker skinned descendants of slaves born in America, must start, taking account and having some transparency in all this violence that we're taking a part in, because, we have to remember that it's just not, the white Caucasian racists that's killing us, it's us killing each other, and we need to, take account of this, and it needs to be some transparency, more transparency is possible, and I mean, it's hurting our communities, because our communities are so, just ripped apart by this violence, whereas we're losing a lot of brothers and sisters, we're losing our babies as well, whether it's to the criminal justice system or to the grave behind all this. And it's steadily just tearing our communities apart. And I just want to touch on the fact that, I did some more, further research last night, after me and Brother Taalik, did a good video last night about the failure of the 1960s, 70s generation. And, which was another very important topic that I hope those of you who listen throughout the cyber media audience enjoyed and, further talked about, at the conclusion of that video. But further along moving, I just want to say that actually, this video here even has some relations to that, because the generation that I come from, considering of those like me born between the 1960s and early 70s, I just feel like we contributed not only to a lot of this violence in our communities, but we passed on to our younger generations that came after us, like those who were born in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, and stuff like that, and unfortunately, it's going to be passed on to those, who were born in this decade, and it's just sad, because, I mean, we don't know how to resolve nothing as black people. Now, we are all peaceful and very non-resistant when it comes to white people and Mexicans and Asians who attack us, as well as our women, throughout this country. I mean, we don't have no problem with that when it comes to other people viciously attacking us physically, and all other type of kind of stuff of that nature, and we don't do nothing. But when it comes to each other, we don't have no problem with killing each other, because somebody looked at you, wrong, because somebody said something wrong that ain't even worth, killing or fighting over, but because somebody glanced at you, So now you sitting in a penitentiary for the rest of your life, because somebody glanced at you. Now you got to walk around the prison compound yard every day, worrying about the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of avoiding when you had a chance on the streets to avoid that type of situation. By just walking away or just not even making an issue of it, So now your family has lost you as well as your victim's family has lost their loved ones over nothing. And I mean, this is just, it's something about this cancer called black-on-black violence in our community that got to end. I mean, you get these groups like Black Lives Matter, they don't want to put this out there. They don't want to address this. You don't got L. Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, marching or protesting about this, unless it's some white racist cop or something that they killed one of us. All of a sudden, it's all about stop the violence, Well, shoot, with all these gangs and stuff, killing each other over territory, over drugs or whatever, like in Chicago or somewhere out on the West Coast or down south or up north, northeast or whatever. It's like, the same energy is not applied, on a massive scale level. And sometimes I wonder why Dr. Martin Luther King, I'm not going to say, because he only did what he thought and knew was best. I'm not fit to sit up here and mock that brother. So whatever I was finna say in regards of him like that, I would just hold that back. I would hold back on that. But the thing is that what I want to say is this, that I wish he would have carried out a movement. I do wish he would have carried out part of his movement in terms of, putting an end to black-on-black violence, because I'm pretty sure blacks was killing each other during his era in time. I've talked to people that was raised or lived in that time. But they said that, the violence that took place in our community was not, as massively, as more dangerous at the scale that it is now, And, but they said it was still black-on-black violence at the time, So, our leaders should be willing to push that agenda just as much as, trying to make peace with an enemy of another group of people like Caucasians that steadily committing violence upon our people every day, especially for racist, unjustifiable reasons, So, like I said, we need to come to an understanding that long as we're killing each other, that's going to give them, as Caucasians or Asians, Hispanics, more reason of justification to feel like they could commit violence against us. You know, like I heard about these Crips and Bloods out there in California, you know, sitting in a fetal position, cornered up, you know, because the Mexicans was terrorizing their neighborhoods and stuff in Compton, California. But they wasn't willing to do nothing about that. But when it came to each other, they was always willing to kill each other. I mean, I just don't get that. You know, I thought that was supposed to be the purpose for them gangs being formed like that on the West Coast. Is to stop, you know, them outside racial groups from attacking their communities. I thought that was a part of the history of why them gangs had started in the first place out there on the West Coast. You know, so like I said, you know, it's like, it's just getting to the point now where, you know, we don't have no morality, no principle, or nothing when it comes to, you know, dealing with each other. We have no respect for each other as men or as women. Men don't respect women. Women don't respect men. Men don't respect men. Women don't respect women. And it's becoming more apparent in the parent that children don't respect children. And this is all as a result because we've lost all kind of principle when it comes to us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. You know, and I mean, it's gotten to the point where, you know, I can't even sit up and make mockery of those who got money and resources to be able to move out of the black communities that they come from and decide to go over to the suburbs, to move over to the suburbs with white people. I mean, I'm not going to sit up and just talk against them like that because, or speak out against that because, you know, and I used to be one of those very same firm critics who would speak out against stuff like that. But today I can't. I just can't because, you know, I mean, if I'm like this, if I had the type of money to just move out into the suburbs somewhere where I feel like I had a family that would be protected more and wouldn't have to be walking out the door worrying about if they gonna get caught up in the middle of a shootout or my children, you know, playing in the front yard and not worrying about getting hit by a stray bullet because it's some type of gang rivalry shootout or drug-related shootout going on in the community or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like this. If the black community can't provide that type of protection, then what is people supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Take chances on losing their life? I mean, yeah, we may be taking a chance on losing our life, going around Caucasians. I'm not going to sit up and deny that fact either, but the whole thing is, it's all about outweighing your options too. Because at the same time, you know, when you go out to the Caucasian neighborhood, you don't see all that going on like you do in the black communities. You know, and I've been around this country. I've been around Caucasians, you know, who are considered as upper class as well as lower class too. Okay, so I'm not going to get that twisted. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's all about, you know, trying to live a decent civil life. While people got families as well. You know? I mean, I talk to people here where I'm at in Nebraska who left cities like St. Louis because they wanted their kids to get a better education. You know, they didn't want to continue on raising them around the riffraff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit up here and just make mockery of them people like that. I'm not going to do that. You know, I mean, it would be insanity way of looking at that. You know, it's very insane for anybody to want to keep living around savagery every day like that. And I don't care even what color you are. Because the reality is, in these inner cities, like the ones I researched, such as Philadelphia, Oakland, Vallejo, California, you know, Danville, Virginia, you know, places like Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, Ohio, you know, these type of things go on. Just like in my hometown where I'm originally from, Detroit, Milwaukee, Chicago, St. Louis, East St. Louis, Gary, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? Memphis, Atlanta, Miami, you know, Birmingham, Alabama, you know, even down in Mississippi, places like Tupelo, Mississippi, and Jackson, Mississippi, you know, where we're trying to, you know, make a new reality happen in regards to the whole state of Mississippi being concerned. Why people could create a new reality and a better sanctuary for ourselves away from all that. You know, but like I said, in these type of areas I just named off, this type of stuff is happening. Nothing but gang violence, killing, you killing each other over drugs. And I'm gonna say this here. That dope that they got out now, even that's still called crack cocaine, is not even in its purest form like it was when it first came out in the 1980s. That drug is more synthetic than it's ever been, you know, and people still killing each other over it, losing their lives to the system behind it, losing their lives to the grave behind it, you know. So, I mean, it's crazy. And there's another thing I want to point out too. And I'm going to speak on this because this is something that, you know, I've, never really bothered to speak on, but I think this needs to be put out there because this is the truth. You know, and I've never been in agreement with it and never will be. Okay, especially in terms of where I come from and the background that I come from. But let me say this here. You know, it's people who call themselves recovering ex-drug addicts or whatnot, okay? And you got these people that's still selling drugs. I mean, you know, some have been clean for the longest 20 years or so, and they still selling drugs. You know, messing up lives. I'm talking about people who got 5 or 10 years or more. Once again, clean, or call themselves being recovering ex-drug addicts. You know what I'm saying? And still, you know, selling that same poison to our people that was destroying their lives. Now they out there destroying thousands upon thousands of people's lives. And I've seen this in my own black community of where I come from. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about that is, and I see it even among those who are of other, so-called ethnic groups of races or races that's claiming to be recovering ex-drug addicts who do the same thing. But I'm primarily speaking about my own people who are dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. But I'm just pointing that out as a whole total broad scale of things going on, which is very hypocritical, and it's defeating the purpose. What is the purpose, of having treatment centers where you got drugs even being sold in there? People was trying to run to seek refuge in places like that just to get away from drugs. And here it is, they met with it in the treatment center. Come on. That is very hypocritical. So, like I said, it's like we have lost all type of principle and morality, and as a people. We don't have no conscience no more. And partly it's as a result of what this crack cocaine has done to us as a people, and how it's destroyed us internally, well as externally, and how it's taken our self-respect clearly away, which is went out the window completely. It is. I'm gonna tell you something. This thing called crack cocaine has even affected us to the point in our communities where it not only has affected those of us in the streets, but those of us that claim to be religious, or those of us that claim to be of other different endeavors or persuasions in life, as a people. And it has a total dynamic effect on us all as a dark-skinned descendant of slaves born in America, and it's just very sickening. And this is the result behind the violence as well that's taking place in our community. I was reading a situation that took place back home in Michigan, where I'm from, where an argument had taken place, and somebody got shot because a couple individuals was arguing over Aretha Franklin, the late soul singer named Aretha Franklin, And there was another entertainer that I guess they was trying to compare her with. And it was all based on a conversation that turned into an argument that turned into to the point where somebody got shot. You know what I'm saying? This is just crazy. This is just simply crazy. You getting into you ended up shooting somebody over a simple argument about somebody not only that was a celebrity, but that's dead. No disrespect, rest in peace to the sister. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it. I'm saying to myself, like, we are actually definitely on the brink of extinction. I mean, we are on the brink of extermination. That's just a clear indicator. That's one clear indicator that we are on the brink of extinction when you look at all this that's taking place with us as a people. We can't even sit up and have a civil conversation without somebody getting their head blown off. And I mean, it just don't make any sense. And I'm thinking, like, metropolitan area right now, but I still keep up with what's going on in them type of other places, you know, around our country, around this country. You know, because I mean, it's just sickening. And you know, it makes me reflect on not only where my place is as a descendant of slaves born here in America that were dark skinned, you know, it makes me reflect on, you know, what is my purpose of living? You know, it makes me, because I mean, it's like, you know, these issues that plague our community, it's just, you know, no one is really trying to do nothing about it. You know, I mean, you know, having Million Man marches, having these justice or else marches, while people pimping our people off their struggles and miseries and getting paid, you know, ain't making matters no more better, but worse. And I mean, it's like, it's very sickening. It's very sickening, you know, when we see these things that's taking place in our community. And every dark-skinned person, black, you know, that's a descendant of slave born in this country ought to be saddened by this, as well as angry by this, enough to be willing to do something about this for once and for all. You know, and not just sitting up talking and having just mere chatter and going back and forth chattering about it. Need to be actually doing something about this, because it's killing us as a people. This is the type of stuff that's going to lead us to the mass grave. And that is definitely a fact. You know, this is going to lead us to the mass grave, or the FEMA camps that these white folks got in place for us. Because we are doing they bidding by killing each other. You know, and I mean, you know, it sickens me because I think about it. I had a cousin back home in Detroit, just coming home from work, and this was like a couple of years ago, you know, and she was on her way home from work, and she got caught up in the middle of a shootout, and she got shot. She lived through it, thank goodness, but she ended up getting shot, and that didn't have to happen. But of course, unfortunately, it did. And as a result, still, the shooter has not been caught yet, even since then. You know, so it's like, man, I mean, you know, that's why I cannot, you know, ride with those, you know, who make mockery of other dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America that choose to move out of the black community and go over to the suburbs where the whites are, or whatever. I can't just simply, you know, criticize them for that. Because if you're not going to, you know, make no means to where these people will feel protected as well as their families, then they got to do what they got to do to live longer. So, you know, I'm not finna sit up here, you know, and criticize those people like that. Because if I was in their position, who's to say I wouldn't do the same thing? Even as a single person, you know? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is the reality of it. You know, and you get those that talk that pro-blackity black, pro-black consciousness stuff, and they sure ain't making no sanctuary, no safe sanctuary in our communities, where our people can feel protected as well as their families. You know, so I mean, you know, I'm not finna, you know, get on board with criticizing them people like that. You know, if we not providing protection for them, you know, a lot of us don't even want to protect the individual families we come from, you know, but to criticize other darker skinned people who are not even kin to us for making the choice of moving out the black neighborhoods and moving and taking themselves and their families and resources over into the white areas or whatever, you know. But you're not, you know, you're not even trying to protect your individual families. You know, look how many dads that left their kids behind. Kids still don't even know who their fathers is. Even in the case of mothers, mothers that walked off, left their kids behind, even to the point where kids don't know who their mothers are. So, I mean, who are we to criticize these people? You know what I'm saying? Who leave their family? I mean, who leave the black neighborhoods and go over to the white areas? Or even move to Asian neighborhoods or other different type of ethnic neighborhoods just to seek protection and sanctuary from the violence that's happening in their own neighborhoods. I mean, you know, I mean, can you blame them? I know I can't. You know, so I mean, it's like, I mean, this the reality of the whole situation is that we got to stop living in fantasy land and just start being realistic about this whole situation. You know, that's why me and Brother Taalik have came up with this idea of Operation Exodus Mississippi for the purpose of taking the state, which is Mississippi, so that we can create a safe sanctuary for our people, not only from the racism of so-called white America, but also but the racism from the rest of America, but also as well as you know, the ills that are plaguing us in black communities across the rest of this country. You know, and I just feel like, you know, at this point, you know, hey, I'm not going to even criticize people, dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, you know, who choose to leave America altogether if they could afford to do so. Just so they won't have to live in no big city or even small city where all this violence is taking place. You know, because I mean, you know, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been here in my local area where I'm at here in Lincoln, Nebraska for several years, you know, and you know, I'm gonna say this. You know, I have to watch both sides, okay? Because you have the racists here, of course, and the few dark-skinned descendants of slaves that I do run across here, you know, they are, you know, they still have those ways that they bring with them from different places around the country, you know, or wherever they come from, but they try to get along more with Caucasians than anything else, but won't even try to make that same type of relational bond when they see another dark-skinned descendant of a slave like myself. that's sickening. And it's like, it would seem like we were born in a place like this because it's not that many of us, you know, but that's not the case. And as a result of over 400 years of slavery, that's where you find that division that still sits within the confines of us as a group of people, far as us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. You know, so I just, you know, it's just sad. It's really sad to know that this is the type of existence that we are living in as a people, as a dark-skinned descendant of slaves born in America. You know, this is a very sad situation that we are actually living in and under. You know, so we can't really at this point blame nobody but ourselves. 90-something% of our issues, beside what the racists is doing to us, you know, we can't do nothing but blame nobody but ourselves, and that's just that simple. You know, whether we want to admit it or not, or accept it or not as a fact, it's just the simple reality of things. Now, if you want to change that, we got to do better than what we're doing as people, and that's just that simple. You know, and I mean, hey, you know, I'm like this. You know, as far as you know, I hear even people in my own biological family, you know, talking this pro-blackity black stuff. You know what I'm saying? Getting on social media, screaming that out when they don't care about other individuals in their own immediate or extended biological families. And that's a form of sickness, you know? You know, how can I make brotherly or sister, or how can any of us be brotherly or sisterly to other darker skinned people who are slave descendants born in America, you know what I'm saying? Or descendants of slaves born in America, when we can't even make peace with our own biological relatives and respect each other as biological relatives and love each other truly like biological relatives. You know, see, that type of stuff there don't sit well with me. And surely it shouldn't sit well with any other descendant of slaves that are born in America. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about that is that, I mean, you know, we have to really understand and realize things for what it is. You know, when we're living in this realistic situation, which we should be changing. I mean, it's 40 plus 70 million of us in this country that got the number powers to be able to do it. You know, but because we are so divided in terms of ideology, religion, which is mainly what's killing us, and which is going to definitely be one of the catalysts to help lead us to the mass graves. I mean, we got to wake up. It's just that simple. We have to wake up and see the reality of things for what it is and stop playing. Because this is not no game. And this definitely does have a lot to do with the violence that's taking place among us as a people. Yes, slavery does have a lot to do with it, but we can't keep using that as a crutch either, especially with us that do know better. Because you have had black Muslims killing black Muslims. You know? I mean, in these different movements, like the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple of America, I mean, you know, those that was in the Nubian Islamic Hebrew mission, that's now known as Nuwabians, or whatever name they go by. You know, they were killing each other. You know, physically attacking each other and all this type of stuff, which most of the time has something to do with religion. You know, since that's the construct they come from. You know, and I mean, this is crazy. You know, when we supposed to be about uplifting fallen humanity or uplifting the so-called black man and woman in America, and we steadily, you know, trying to take down each other. What's the purpose for those pseudo beliefs then? That's called pro-black consciousness, or black power, or pro-blackity black. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What's the purpose for all that? You know, you might as well just go back to being plain old niggas in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, my thing is that you know, I mean, we killing each other on all broad scale, on whole entire different broad level scales. You know, we killing each other just because of us being from different states, different cities. We can't even get along. You know, during my time of incarceration, I saw this. You know, somebody don't like somebody because they from Atlanta, Georgia. Somebody don't like somebody because they from New York. Somebody don't like somebody because they from Detroit. Or somebody don't like somebody because they from Washington, D.C. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know, and it's the same thing on the streets. You know, like I said, I've traveled around this country. And from experience, I've seen it, you know. Oh, he from Detroit. Oh, he from New York. Oh, he from Chicago. Oh, I don't like that nigga. Oh, he from Atlanta. Oh, he country. He's somewhere from Mississippi, Alabama. You know, that type of ignorant stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm from Kansas City and I don't like niggas from St. Louis, or I'm from St. Louis and I don't like niggas from Kansas City, you know? You know, I mean, that's just sickening. Or I'm from the West Coast, I don't like you because you from the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast, so I don't like you because you from the West Coast. You know, that type of ignorant stuff, you know? I remember when I was down in Georgia, even around the time of my periods of incarceration, you know, and I used to see how brothers from Atlanta used to be at brothers from Miami's throats. I mean, they would be at each other's throats, especially over drug territories and all that kind of stuff, you know. And I'm like, this is sickening. You know, I mean, it's really sickening when you think about it. Because, you know, lives was lost behind this type of ignorance. People doing time in prison, even for the rest of their life, behind this ignorance. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, and this is the type of issues our people don't seem to want to address. You know, it's just like me being from Detroit and Chicago, never liked brothers and sisters from Detroit, and the same, you know, vice versa feelings is whereas people from Detroit never like folks from Chicago. I mean, this type of back and forth thing, you know, it's just crazy. You know, these are serious internal issues because this is causing lives to be lost. That's the only reason I'm speaking on it, because it's causing lives to be lost. It's caused people's freedom to be took. For what? You know, for what? I mean, I remember I was in Louisville, Kentucky, before I moved out this way where I'm at, and I simply asked the brother. I didn't know him. I just asked him. I said, brother, where you from? You know? And the brother gonna try to make a big issue about it. I just went on about my business, but you know, brother actually was trying to make an issue about me asking him where I was from. Told me he was from somewhere down in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, he was trying to make a big issue about it. I'm like, really? Ignorant type stuff, you know? And this is the type of mentality that we're dealing with as a present day generation of dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. You know, I don't know what happened in my parents' generation during the civil rights movement era and the Jim Crow era or whatever, how they dealt with each other socially. But I'm pretty sure, you know, slavery had an impact on that because it's had an impact on all of us generationally as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. But I do know in my immediate generation that it's just sickening. I mean, it's really sickening when you think about it. You know, you can't even walk up to a brother and ask him a question even if you don't know the brother. And that's sad, because you might get cussed out, or you might lose your life possibly over some simple stuff like that. And that's just crazy. This is the reality of what we're dealing with, people. This is the reality of what we are dealing with. This is why we call this reality temple ministries on earth. Because this is the reality this is part of the reality that we're dealing with. This is not no game. This is for real. You know, and I mean, it's like, you know, you want to wonder why certain dark-skinned descendants of slaves who walk around scared to even talk to other dark-skinned descendants of slaves. Because as a result of what's going on with us as a people in this age of violence here in America, you know, like I said before, we want to kill each other because we got on a pair of $3,000 to $2,000 Jordan sneakers, and we see we ain't got them, so we want to take them from somebody else, which might result in somebody getting killed or somebody going to prison for the rest of their life, you know? I mean, damn. Excuse my French, but sometimes, I mean, the truth can be emotional, especially depending on the, you know, the dynamics of the truth. But I mean, it's real. This thing is real out here. We're dying over some of the most simplest elementary stuff, and then we wonder why we're the biggest laughing stock to the world and why people don't take us serious. Why don't no other nationality or racial group got any respect for us? This is the type of stuff that people that make people don't want to respect us or have nothing to do with us. This is the type of stuff that they see. They see it in the movies. They see it in the media. They see it in so-called hip-hop, you know, and then it, you know, regurgitates into real life. You know what I'm saying? So this is the situation that causes us not to be respected, not only in this nation, but throughout the rest of the world. And you wonder why ain't nobody speaking out on our oppression over here in America. They figure, well, hey, them niggas don't love each other that much to be concerned, so why should we be concerned? Once again, can you blame them? I know I can't. So, I mean, really, this situation is it's just sickening. I mean, it really is. Our leaders ain't doing nothing about it, whether they're in politics or religion. They not trying to study, because most of them have turned a blind eye or receiving, under-table payments, to keep their mouth shut up about it, they taking payments under the table so they can keep their mouths closed. While just constantly keep going on every day. And I mean, it's just sad. We got to wake up and understand that we need to take our own destiny. Just like Marcus Garvey said almost 100 years ago. We need to take our own destiny as a people. And we need to change our reality if we really want to be respected as a people in this nation and throughout this world. We're going to have to do something unless we want to be exterminated. It's just that simple. It's just as simple as that. I can't put it no more other than, and as a matter of fact, I wanted to say this too, because I spoke about this last night in the other video that me and the brother did. Malcolm Shabazz, the son of the late great Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz, who got killed in Tijuana, Mexico. It was no kind of outrage over this brother's killing. It was no outrage whatsoever from the masses of our people, whether the so-called Black conscious community or the so-called Black conscious community. It was no outrage. Especially with all these people who proclaim so much about how they love Malcolm X and this and that. You didn't hear no massive rage about this. No massive outrage about this at all was even made when this brother got killed. And I have to say this, because no one has been held accountable for this brother's murder, we cannot place the blame on nobody but ourselves for that. We cannot place the blame on nobody but ourselves for that. And I'm going to repeat it again. We cannot place the blame on nobody else but ourselves for that. It's just that simple. Of course, these Caucasians over here in the United States didn't care. Plus, it was in Mexico too. So, we should have been the ones that took the stand to do something about this so that people could be held accountable that was involved in that brother's assassination. Because he was, headed into the exact steps of his grandfather. You know, and I strongly feel like that even played a part in his assassination. You know, but we should have stood up and at least had some transparency brought to the attention of this situation, so that someone could be held accountable. You know, because now we got another dead potential future leader. You know, and I mean, it's just, you know, and I'm not even talking about in terms of a leader, because from this platform, we don't believe in looking up to people under the auspices of leadership inspiration. But I would say as a common collective, we just lost another pioneer of our dark-skinned slave descendant struggle. You know, that's how I believe that went. You know, but like I said, I mean, you know, it's like, man, it's just crazy. We need to wake up and smell the coffee and stop playing games with ourselves. Stop all this killing, all this infighting over nothing, because 95% of the time it's over nothing. Drug-related, some type of domestic dispute, you know. I mean, I be reading about so much stuff on the internet when it comes to so-called black-on-black violence with our people, and it's senseless. Matter of fact, it's too senseless for me to even bring up certain details behind it. You know, that's how pathetic it is. You know, and I mean, it's just crazy. You know, when you think about it, it's just really crazy. And that's the reason why I decided to do this part 2 series, because it's just crazy. No one else cares how we kill and maim each other in the streets. A lot of us don't even care how much we kill each other, and that's even the sadder part about it. You know, and I mean, it's like either it's because we benefiting off it some kind of way, or because we just don't care, we too scared to do something about it. You know, and like I said, all this in turn or is an indicator that we're headed to the mass grave. And with that, I'm going to close and hand this back over to our brother Taalik so he could close us out. Peace.
All right. All right. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm so tired. I told you earlier my electricity was off, and I'm just now getting cleaned up and whatever. Let me say this before we part. I want everybody. Well, let's give Brother Taalik a round of applause. Okay, for that. And I want to say that Brother Taalik always bring a message that is very important to this platform, and he's very important to this rostrum. And I hope that, just like myself, I hope that you would lend an ear every time he speaks. He comes from the same place that I do, and he has a lot of experience and has a very, very keen mind, very open mind. And I am very happy, as they say in religion, very blessed that he is here on this platform. I want to say this before we close in reference to the topic that that our brother has spoken on. Hold on a second here. Get my screen right. Okay. I want to say this to us. Using the European as an example. Some of the first shiploads of Caucasian people from Europe that came to this new land, they say they were escaping religious persecution, or persecution. And what they wanted to do was come to a place where the society, now I want y'all to listen, they wanted to come to a place where the society that they were escaping had no influence on their children. Why is that important? And this is our problem here in America. As long as they had their children upon the society or living within the society that was contrary to their religious belief system, then their children would be influenced by that society. No matter how they taught their children about their belief system, just the fact they lived in a system that was contrary to their belief system would influence their children. So they decided to get on boats and come or sail thousands and thousands of miles to make sure that their future generations would not be affected by the society that they were against. So everything that Brother Talib said is true. It's 1000% true. And we come up with all types of solutions, and we think that we know the causes, and we go back and forth. But the solution is just like those Quakers. And who was those other folks? There was the Quakers and Puritans. They were escaping religious persecution from Europe to get away from their society, because their society would stain their children. As long as we live, see, as long as we live in America in this situation, this is what you're going to get, because this society, this situation produces it. So I don't care how much black power, and I'm going to use Louis Farrakhan for an example. Louis Farrakhan, of course, is a teacher of Islam. And I'm very sure his children grew up in an environment of Islam. However, one of his children became a crackhead. How is that possible? How can a young boy raised all his life in Islam, how can he become a crackhead? How did he how did that happen? It happened because I don't care what his mother taught him. I don't care what Louis Farrakhan teach. His son, his children live, and all of us live in this society that produces that type of behavior. That's the reason why. And until you separate yourself from this society, as Brother Guy was saying in the chat room, this society was built on racism and violence. This is what the country was built upon, racism and violence. So what do you expect from newly freed slaves as they began to enter? And see, I know what I'm saying is true, because prior to integration, these things, of course, these things was happening. I mean, we did things, terrible things to each other prior to integration, but they became worse because we began to integrate with the people that built a country based upon racism and violence, who are materialistic. And so we become materialistic. We become violent, nasty, and vulgar. This is why. So as long as we stay in this country, in this society, you're going to have that. Because you're integrated into something that produces it. So why are you shocked? Why are you shocked that black on black crime? It's not no shock to me. It's supposed to happen. The country is violent. So if you don't have, common sense tell you what I'm going to take from somebody else. And I'm not going to get in a cab and go to another neighborhood. I'm going to prey upon those where I live. And this even goes for Caucasian people. Nobody is going to get in a cab or get on a bus to go steal or rob or murder somebody. It's going to happen within the community that they live. You don't hear about it a lot, but I'm very sure in the Asian community, Asian on Asian crime, white on white, pink on pink crime, black on black crime, Irish on Irish, German on German crime. Nobody's going to get on a plane and buy a plane ticket to go somewhere to commit. Especially when you're poor. And see, that's another thing. We're impoverished. We don't have. So we prey on one another. And we live in a society and environment where we really don't like to share. So I got mine, you get yours. But see, the problem with that attitude is they're going to take you. When you put yourself in a situation where they can take it from you, then now what you had was yours. Now it's mine. And I don't care nothing about the consequence because I'm suffering anyway. If you kill me, that's cool. If you send me to prison, that's cool. I don't give a damn. This is the type of environment that we live in. So what is the solution to this problem? It is like the Europeans done, the Puritans and the Quakers. They separated from that society that was contrary to their belief system because they did not want their children influenced. So as long as our babies are in this country, this is what you're going to get. Matter of fact, we don't even have to talk about the children. Look at you. Look at you and me. We are influenced. Well, I don't kill nobody. I don't rob nobody. Yeah, but I bet you lie. I bet you spread gossip. I bet you hate. I bet you materialistic to a great certain point. You are influenced in this society because that's what this society is. Your level of being spoiled and rotten may not be on the level of others, but we all suffer because that's what this nation produces. So let us not get self-righteous. So the real solution to this problem is separation, but not in the manner that all these pro-blackity, black, that's not realistic, because it took 400 years to get us in this situation. And the reality is, this is the only home that we know. This is what you have to understand. This is the only home that we know. Do you know why so many people that died, got caught up in that fire that's going on in California right now? Because people have a tendency, they don't want to leave their homes. I don't care if it's a fire or a hurricane or a tornado. People have a tendency, they don't want to leave home. So here you are talking about, let's go back to Africa and all this kind of stuff. Nobody, the masses of the people are not interested in that. This is home. This is all they know. And even if a fire or an earthquake, look at people, even after floods and earthquakes and all these disasters, what do? They go back home if it's possible. The only place that I know where people don't go home is when there's nuclear radiation, like in Chernobyl, Russia. Nobody has not returned there yet. But there's grass and there's deer and there's squirrels. But human beings have not returned to Chernobyl, Russia yet. There's no place like home. So in Exodus, and that's why the word Exodus is in this campaign, Operation Exodus Mississippi, because I understand, and we need to understand, that if you cannot make this better for ourselves, which I really doubt we can, so everything that we're doing is towards that exodus, towards that separation. But you cannot have separation because the people won't accept it. So you have to wean them into separation by offering isolation. And that's probably the first, this rostrum is probably the first time you ever heard that. Isolation. Operation Exodus Mississippi is a step and a practice of isolation. Because everything that you would be doing in isolation is to isolate yourself from general society so that you can put people in a quarantine situation so they don't become sick. Because we know that the surrounding areas, we know that the society is sick. So you are quarantining yourself off from those who are sick. Readying them, inoculating their body, getting them ready for separation, which may not be in our lifetime, but that's the process. It would be up to future generations to make the call when they should make that move. But we know that we need to be isolated. We know that ultimately we need to be separated, because you're living in a situation where an environment that has made us sick. It's not only made us sick, but everybody in this country, in this nation, in this system, in this environment, they have become and are sick. And we should want to escape that. And as long as you put your children in this environment, only thing you're going to do is complain. I don't care how Christian you are. I don't care how Muslim you are. I don't care how much of a good person you are. In some form or fashion, all of us are influenced by this violent, nasty society, especially the children, because racism and violence is all that they really know. Materialism, greed, celebrity seeking, attention seeking, consumers instead of producers. That's this society. And all your people, regardless of race, suffer that. Some more than others. But it affects the descendants of slaves born in America even more so, because we're on the bottom of the totem pole. And the only way we can get up from out of that place is with this campaign called Operation Mississippi, or Exodus Mississippi, OEM. There's no other way there's nothing else that can get the job done. But see, the thing about it is, in order for this to work, it must become a national effort. And the only way it can become a national effort, you must become unified. And that's something y'all don't want. So since you don't want to unify, because you hate me for some reason, I hate you for some reason, then just like the brother said, why don't we just pack our bags and just voluntarily just march into the hole, and let the dirt cover it? Because if you don't voluntarily do it, there's a whole lot of folks that's going to be doing it for you. Might as well. Get it over with. At least have some dignity. Go on your own. Don't go crying and begging for your life, when the day comes. Or the day for your children, they will be the ones who will be going into that mass grave. Or the new gas chambers, or the ovens. Because as long as we continue the path that we're going right now, that's the only thing that can happen. Especially if there's a worldwide drought, especially when the water supply get low, food get low, then it becomes survival of the fittest. You think these other people are going to be looking out for your children? But if you have a safe haven, a sanctuary, that you created before something like this happens, then our people got a chance. But without this, you're done. And if you really listen to what's going on, you can't drink salt water. Fresh water supplies are getting low. Oil supplies are getting low. These resources are getting low. You got diamonds and gold. You can't do nothing with that. You can't run a car on diamonds and gold. You got to have oil. You got to be able to drink water, fresh water. And if there's a worldwide drought, you got to have a food source. All these things are dwindling. And the information is out there, but we don't listen, of course, because we watching reality shows, we watching boxing matches, and we're not keeping up with what's happening in the world, especially who's keeping up with fresh drinking water? Who's keeping up with fresh drinking water? You don't care. You go to the sink and the water come on. You go to the store and you buy your bottled water. Brothers and sisters love to get that. Ain't nothing but some damn tap water they done cleaned up. You think that you're drinking some pure water. It's the same old water that come out the river or whatever. There ain't nothing special about that water. You think that you got something really good because it's in a pretty bottle. That's what gets you, because it's in a pretty bottle. You know, they did a test on that water. They put regular tap water and had a bottle of that purified water on the table. Nobody could tell the difference. And I'm telling you, it's all the same. Very few bottles of water that you buy actually come from a clean source, because ain't too many clean sources of real drinking water around anymore, y'all. And pretty soon that's going to dry up. So what are you going to do? Just like you're not listening to what this brother is telling us. You're not listening to what is going on this channel. See, I don't know when it's going to happen, but this bubble is going to burst because it's unnatural. Driving cars is unnatural. Airplanes, even drinking soda, don't you know? All that's unnatural. And pretty soon, this bubble is going to burst. And it's all rooted and based upon oil. And this planet is getting hotter and hotter all the time. The environment is changing. But you don't care. And that's fine. You know, it's fine. You know, it's a process called koshering. Y'all know what koshering is? Koshering is this ritual that that cows and other animals go through. What it is, it's a very slow process that Jews do for their meat. And what it is that you take a cow or animal and you make sure that they are comfortable. And you know, you sing to them maybe, you know, you pet them, you make them feel easy. Then all of a sudden you take out a knife and slice their throat. That's koshering. And the reason why they do that, because they don't want that fear of that animal to go through the flesh. It's a chemical called adrenaline. When those animals are slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, their bodies are filled with adrenaline because they know they're getting ready to die. And we turn around and eat that flesh. And you wonder why we behave the way that we do. Not only are we eating hormones and other chemicals, antibiotics, when we're eating these animals that come from these commercial places, but those animals died in fear, and they passed that fear on to us. So I'm not shocked that we are scary. I'm not shocked that we are scary people. But you know, we don't want to take things seriously. We act and behave like children. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said this, that the so-called Negro, the descendants of slaves in America, the people I call soul, our minds are immature. Remember, our people were slaves for 400 years. We were taken care of by our massa for 400 years. Well, I pay my bills. I drive my car. I raise my kids. You're not mature Because when it's all said and done, the bottom line, ain't nothing really has changed. The white people still taking care of us like children. And that's why when he get mad, he said, come here, boy. We still boys and girls. But if you want to grow up and prove that you are grown, prove that you are God, prove that you are goddess, then prove me a lie. Prove Brother Taalik a lie. Show yourself that you're a God, goddess, and a king and a queen, because certainly it's very easy for God to take control of a state. We need to do something big. I'm not talking about taking control of a little country town, you know, with the local drunk, you know, and one sheriff and one deputy. That's nothing. You want to show your power? Take control of this state. And when you do that, you're going to be so proud of yourself, you're going to be ready for the next state. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, it's going to get so good, we're going to want to take over the country. And that's a good thing. Because those who are in control of this country right now, the only direction they send in this country to is hell. So you don't want to be in that. You want to exodus and get the hell out of it, or you do want to take control of the whole country. Taking it from the most violent country in the world to the most heavenly place on earth. And with that said, thank you, Brother Taalik. Thank you, Brother God, Brother Bakari, Syrian, Brother Don in Facebook, the Facebook audience, and those in the chat room, and those who will later view this get together, this discussion, this lecture. Thank you so much for listening. Myself and Brother Taalik, we will be back later on this evening. I have a subject that I would like to touch on. Should black people, should we fear death? I think that's interesting. I want to try to get myself together for that. 7 o'clock, y'all. 7 o'clock. So take care of your business. Go out there and grab you something to eat and come back and join your brother. Join us brothers in about 4 hours, 3.5 hours. And we want to talk about, should we fear death? Is there life after death? I think we had this conversation on Brother Craig, African Supremacy channel. And that's another thing. Make sure that you subscribe to African Supremacy, AFRIKKAN Supremacy. That's with Brother Craig, because he does our live streams when I'm not able to come to this rostrum. So subscribe to Brother Craig. Yeah, we was talking about that yesterday. So I just want to. I had been wanting to talk about this subject for a while, but never really had the time. But yeah, I want to do this. Okay, we out, and we'll talk to y'all in a few hours. So peace. We off air, y'all.